All right. So today we're going to talk about the development learning theories that we read about this week, and we're going to look into the theories of psychosocial development and social emotional development. All right. So psychosocial development theory, I learned that it is looking at development over a human's whole life, and it goes in 8 stages from infancy to older adulthood. And it was greatly influenced by Freud, but looking at more of culture and society and how those are really playing a role in development. And all of these stages, if completed successfully, will lead to a healthy personality. But if one fails to be completed, then flaws will come up in the personality. So first look at stages 1 through 4. Age 1 was trust versus mistrust, and at 1 years old, you only really have your parents or your caregivers for support, and you're always going to be turning to them for all of your needs. So failure to have this is really going to lead to a mistrust, and that even just from age 1, that's really going to just impact all of your relationships that you have moving forward. So really important for parents and caregivers to really be there for their children at that time. Age 2 is autonomy versus shame. And even at age 2, children are looking to have some independence. So parents can help with this by giving just small things for the child to do on their own, like maybe choosing a game or an activity they're going to be doing, putting on their clothes themselves, just little things to help them know that they have some independence already in control. Age 3 to 5, this is initiative versus guilt. So this is when children are entering like preschool and school and kind of like play groups and stuff. So this is when they're really starting to interact with other children and initiating activities that they want to do with them and kind of leading them in an activity or something. So during this time is when they kind of are starting to develop that. But if they don't and they're like criticized, they're gonna start to feel guilt and not want to interact with others. So it's gonna be really important for like preschool teachers to be promoting um, these good experiences for children as they start to initiate activities with others. Um, Stage 4, age 6 to 12, industry versus inferiority. So this is school age children, and now they're realizing that they want to please other people, especially in authority, like their teachers and parents. So they're really looking to gain approval and from others to help them gain their confidence. And so this is going to be a big push for teachers to making sure that they're motivating their students and to giving them that praise when they deserve it. And even, just looking for little things that they're doing well so that it helps to gain their confidence and that they aren't ignored and feeling inferior. Okay, stages 5 to 8. Stage 5 is age 12 to 18. So middle school to high school, and this is when identity versus role confusion starts. I think at this point, students are starting to think about what they're going to do with their lives, and that this can definitely be a very confusing time. I think it's important that teachers do things in school like what do I want to be when I grow up, or having shadowing with different careers assignments, and that will help students kind of find their place and maybe lead to some less confusion so that they don't feel like they don't belong. Age 6, age 18 to 40, intimacy versus isolation. So in young adulthood, this is when you're starting to build a family and people are looking for those close partnerships. If they don't have that, they will begin to feel isolated, and this leads to unhappiness and all of that. Age 7, age 40 to 65, generativity versus stagnation. So at this point, adults are more stable, feel more stable in their families and their jobs, and so, um, but some don't, and they might feel like they're kind of stuck in the situation because they already have all these roots and their family, and it's not like they can just pick everything up and change things. So it can be a time of either realizing that they like the way things are or they really don't. Stage 8, age 65 and up, integrity versus despair. So people looking back on their lives and begin to either feel happy about how things turned out or they're realizing they aren't so happy with how things are going. Okay, so the next the next theory is the social emotional development theory. So this looks at children's experiences, expressions, and how they're managing their emotions to create connections with others and how they're going to use this development to help them thrive in their new social settings. So first is building relationships. So from infancy, caregivers are the first relationships that they have, and they are really going to be counting on them, just like we kind of talked about in the first stage of the other theory. If they don't have that predictability and that safety coming from them, it's going to be already a rough road to kind of keep their emotions under control. It's going to lead to a lot less stress already if they just have that like stable environment. Relationships with adults. So they are starting to form relationships with parents, their family members, teachers, and they're kind of looking for them for models on how to behave and how to express their emotions. And close relationships is equated to emotional security, sense of self, and helps them alleviate stress. So recognition of ability. So from a young age, children start to gain self-efficacy, which is like realizing that you can make things happen. And I think teachers can really help to promote this by giving their students confidence, breaking things down for them, motivating them, encouraging them, always acknowledging their success, whether it's big or it's small. Self-efficacy is really important to create resilient children and just to have an overall better well-being. Next is the expression of emotion and just about how positive, negative emotions really will play a significant role in their development. Positive emotions make them want to form relationships while negative attitudes don't. And of course, just positive emotions lead to just overall better well-being. Empathy, this is starting to develop, just being able to feel what others are feeling and help them in those situations. And this really helps like strengthen their relationships. And emotional regulation, they are starting to understand their emotions and realize the effect that they have and how they can help to regulate them and just use them for communicating. Impulse control, so this is, students being able to perform well in a classroom with their behavior, to follow their rules, their expectations from them, to not just burst out in like a tantrum at any like random time over something small, just being able to kind of control themselves and also be cooperative with others, like sharing. So in a classroom, this can be promoted by doing teamwork activities and having the students have different roles that they need to like really work together. Social understanding, they are beginning to develop an understanding of responsive communication, how to engage, and just the importance of the social nature of humans. And